Hello, Jan here. You remember me? I know I haven't been on for so long. I took time off because it was summer, as you know, and I wanted to just spend time outside, and it was just too hot to sit in here in the loft. And then it's taken me a little while to get motivated, to be perfectly honest. So I've now been thinking of things that I can make for you, and I did almost consider not doing it anymore because having the two channels to think about. I'm going to give it a go, and hopefully my viewing numbers and that will go up. I did, obviously, as you'd expect, lose quite a few subscribers during my shutdown period, which is fair enough. I disappeared, so they probably thought I wasn't coming back. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. As you know, I like to try and make things from recycled fabrics. Still never sure whether to use recycled or upcycled, to be perfectly honest. And it's still my aim to try and do that sort of thing. And I keep looking for things that I can make with the fabric and the scraps that I have here in my sewing room. For anybody new watching, if you're curious as to what my sewing room looks like, there's a video you can look in the lists that gives you a tour basically, and shows you a bit of the little bit of chaos that I sort of sit in when I'm creating. I do tend to do more sewing than anything else, but I like to have a go at other things as well. I like to paint and I like to draw, and sometimes my friend Sharon joins me in making, and you know, just have a bit of a laugh really, trying to do things that we've seen other people do, and we've got some ideas in our mind, and we might do that again. In my little break, I've made myself a outfit, like it's not really a suit, but it's a top and trousers that match. I'll put a picture of that up for you. I've made a small handbag, which I'll put a picture up for you again. If you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen that bag. And this bag, I've just finished this one, and I decided I found a picture of Mickey, made my own template, and then put each layer together, stitched it on, and then made this bag. You will have, if you've been watching for a while, you will have seen this fabric before. I made a baguette bag from the same fabric, and it used to be a tablecloth. Recently I did find in our very cheap sort of shop that sells lots of scraps and things, basically, or reject stuff, and it was a bag of, in fact I can show you, you can see through there, but it's plastic, very flexible tubing. So I spotted that. I don't really know what it's for, but for me I thought it's a great thing to use for making these sort of handles. So I've put that inside there. It's fairly soft, so it's nice to hold, and covered it, and I'm quite pleased with that. I think it cost me about €4 or something, but maybe not even that much. But it's certainly was worth getting, because it's easy to cut, and as I say, flexible. It smells a bit weird, like rubbery things do, but yeah, that was a good buy. What else has changed? Oh, on our holiday, which some of you may have been watching the videos of the holiday, I bought 2 bags of lavender, because we were in the south and there's lavender everywhere. So I do want to make some sort of lavender bag at some point. I think that's about all I need. If I think of it, I'll obviously let you know. But meanwhile, let me just show you, to make this another one of these bags. Put that down there. I've already cut out my fabric, so this is the bit that I'll be folding over the tubing to make the handle. This is the main part of it. And what I did on this one I put panels in the side, but I found it very fiddly to make the corners. Not quite got the knack for that. So instead of doing that, I've made it slightly wider, and I'm going to make box corners, which you've seen me do before. Then I've got all my pieces here. There's Mickey's, the main part of the face, and there's another bit of the face. Then I've got the two ears. Then I've got, there's 4 parts to the eyes. There's the white of the eyes, the pupils of the eyes, his smile, and this is like his tongue, and his nose. Excuse me. So that is what I'm going to be doing, but I think I'm going to have to move you off the table because the vibrations of the sewing machine is going to make the camera vibrate. I'm going to move you, and you'll soon see that you're in a different position. Right, hopefully that's a good enough view for you. Anybody that's watched before will know that I haven't got the most high-tech system set up here. I do have to take the camera off of my face basically and show what I'm doing, because otherwise I'd have to, if you sat miles away, and then you wouldn't see anything anyway. But I will still talk to you, whether you like it or not. So what I'm going to do now is put together the pieces, and the way I'm going to do that is by putting double-sided tape on the back of each piece as I put it together, and then it will hold it together soundly while I'm then stitching around the edge. So I need to get some scissors to cut my double-sided tape, so we can do that first. Also, you will know that occasionally I speed things up, because otherwise the video will be too long and no one will sit and watch it for very long. I have to be careful, because obviously what is the point of me trying to just show you what I'm doing if it's too fast and you can't take it in. So let's do this. Right, let's make sure I've got the interfacing up the right way, and so I can stick straight onto it. There we go. Right. I hope you had an amazing summer. I have to say, most of us were, in the end, complaining because it was a bit hot. But no doubt, over the next few weeks, we'll be complaining because it's too wet. But there you go. That's just the way the weather is these days. Those two onto these bits. So useful, this double-sided tape for things like this. Right, is the tape all ready? I won't peel that off yet because that's got to be then stuck on the bag. This one needs to be stuck. It's quite fiddly sometimes getting this started. You've just got to get a corner off. That's it. Yes, I was very pleased with the template. It's a picture I'd had in my project folder for a long time, and it was a page that I took from an Australian cake making book, believe it or not. Kept it because it's quite basic shapes that would be easy to do applique with, not too fiddly. So I used like baking sheets, because you can see through it, and drew through that and then cut that, and it worked out really well. I mean, I can draw, but it's getting those nice smooth lines, it's difficult. So that's the face on. The ears obviously can't, they got to go straight onto the bag as well, so they will wait. So really we're just constructing the face to start with. What I'm going to do, I should put the nose in place, and that would give me some perspective on where the rest of it should go. That's about right. Way round, I think that way. It's not perfect, but then that's what makes things unique, isn't it? There we go, that's his nose on. So now we need to sit the eyes just above the nose. I was thinking of making, the trouble is I've already made bags for my daughters in the past. I'm not sure if they want another one, but the reason I was going to make them this time was because, again, in the break, although I did film it, and I don't know what happened, but basically I lost the filming. I was filming, tidying up the drawers that I've got all my card making and crafting things in, and when I went to edit it, it wasn't there. So otherwise you would have seen it, but I decided that it's so rare that I make cards, because I've probably said before, because by the time you've handmade them, and they can weigh that much more. That needs to be a bit narrower. They can weigh that much more, so they cost so much more to post. So I stopped making cards, sadly, and I now send via Funky Pigeon. This might be too big as well. That's okay. That'll be okay. So yeah, so what I decided, I was putting them all together, and I thought I'd give them to a couple of my granddaughters, and then I thought, actually, they nearly all like to do crafting. For the girls, I'm going to split all of my kit out and give it to all of them, and I've got lots of blank cards that they can make some birthday cards from and stuff, and I think they'll really enjoy that. Then we need the mouth. As I say, it's not perfect, but I've still got a stitch around there, so some of the rough edges you won't see because it'll be zigzagged. If any of you are tuning in looking for a professional craft or crafter, you're probably on the wrong channel, but I like to think I've got a bit of a talent, and I do like to have a go, as I say. And as I always say, if nothing else, I will make people feel better when I make my mistakes, because we all make mistakes, and I don't want to edit all of those out, and I show you the mistakes I made, and hopefully I learn from them. There we go. So smile. Now on the picture, they've got the whites of the eyes on there and a bit of shine on the nose. The tongue has a little bit of white on it as well, but I've decided not to bother with that. There we go. So he's ready to be stitched. As I say, he's not perfect, but then that's what makes them individual. Okay, right, we're going to change my thread. And I might move you so you can see from the side. Okay, I've rethreaded my machine. It's now in black. So now I'm going to sew the inner part of the face now. So I'll start with what you'd call the face rather than, I suppose, the head. I'm doing this in quite a small zigzag. I'm going to set this up with the needle on the edge of the fabric, and then just slowly move it around. It's not always easy to do curves, but we'll get there. So I did on the other one, so it's best to take your time until you feel confident. We'll start the needle in the fabric. I think this is sticking a little bit because it might be going through the double-sided tape. Should have thought that before I put that on, but it's okay, we get through it. Should put it on in a different place, really. Something about doing this applique sort of thing, I do enjoy it. I don't know what it is. So now we start from the other side. So there. right near to where I started. I should have started on the edge there, shouldn't I? Never mind, it's fine. Okay, let's just turn that slightly, just give us a little bit there. That's it. I had a couple of messages sent to me by one of the viewers who decided to make the phone prop that I made, and she's going to make them for all of her family. And she made something else. I mean, I know she's made the bottle bags that I made and something else. So it's really nice to get pictures. And she says I've sort of inspired her to get going on crafting, and I'm really pleased about that, because it's all good to have a hobby, this sort of thing, and to be able to make handmade things is so, it's just so rewarding. Well, assuming they like it, of course. Whoops, I kind of wandered a bit there. Wonky there. Because there's such a tiny piece here, what I did on the other one is I put some textile glue behind that one to hold that on. So you can see there I went off there, but I don't really want to unpick that and start again. If it annoys me enough, then I might. I'm going to cut those threads now because they're annoying me. Right, where do I need to? I've got to do the other eye. Yep. Try and hold on to the thread. I don't know where the other one is, but that one. There it is. Try and hold those. It's funny, the same spots because I'm going around a corner. Actually, they almost look identical now. Like, I meant to do that. Some of you may have already seen this if you've watched me on or seen my Instagram. Quite chuffed with it, so I did put pictures up there. Okay, now the nose. Oops, didn't hold on to the thread, did I? You're turning corners, try and keep the needle in the fabric when you turn, then it won't wander. You can see I did actually go through the double-sided tapes. That's going to be fun to take it off, but never mind. I do like to set myself these challenges, don't I? Right, let's now do the mouth. Now, I remember on the last one, the mouth was a bit awkward because it's so narrow at that end, but again, take your time. The tape again. Why did I put that on first? Silly girl. Never mind. Now we just do the tongue. Right, okay. So See, there's a few mistakes, but if I hold it over here, you won't be able to see them. Right, let's stick that on here with the ears, and then I can stitch those. So we need to place, let's get the bag folded in half. Let's find where we want the face. I would say about there. That's that there, and then we need the ears on there and one there. And all of a sudden we've got Mickey. Right, let's stick them on. If I can get the tape off now that I've sewn it. It's going to be a bit more fiddly. Every piece of mine is just stitched across. As I always say, learn by my mistakes. Don't put your tape on before you stitch. I also done a template for Winnie the Pooh, so I will be having a go at that. I think that might be a bit more fiddly because there's obviously smaller parts to that. As I was saying, I need to make some bags for my crafting, card making stuff to put. So they've got I've got something basically to put in for the granddaughters to. Otherwise I've got to go and find a box, and I thought, well, at least if I give them a bag, they can use it for something else if they want to. Okay. So what have you been up to over the summer? Have you made things? You got any more creations that you can send me pictures of and I can show everybody? Got to be proud of what you make. I was saying, the thing I made, I'd had the fabric on my shelf for ages. Then I made my own pattern for the top. I had a pattern for like palazzo pants. I don't know if anybody knows what they are, but basically very lightweight, baggy trousers that people very often wear in the summer. I've been wanting to make myself the pants for ages. And I thought, I know what I could do, because I've got enough fabric that I could make a top and make it almost like basically like a suit, but not quite. Right, so that's ready. So now I'll stitch that. Yeah, I mean it's okay. I mean, I'm considering taking it on holiday. I'm not very good at wearing the stuff I make, I must admit, which is bad really. I should do. I wear it at home, but I don't tend to wear out. Well, I was saying that I turned a polar neck, skinny polar neck jumper into a V-neck top, but because I've done the V at the front and the back, the sleeves were tended to keep slipping off, so I've made a piece of elastic and I stitched it one side of the V and the other side on the back, and it holds it up. So I'm really pleased with that, and I did wear that out the other day. I do hope you got a cup of tea or a coffee while you're watching me, because you know I do like to chat. That's one ear done. Running away from me, makes it hard to control. Sometimes it's hard to keep your foot on the pedal at one speed. I'm waiting for my bobbin to run out. It normally happens, doesn't it? Right, now to go around the whole head. I'll start here, I think. I watched a lady's video yesterday. I can't remember the name of the embroidery, but it's hand embroidery, and it's done with wool or bigger thread that you do lots of rows of stitching along on something. And she made a cover for a journal, and I really fancy making a cover for one of my folders. But it's a fantastic way of using up scraps. So that's on my list, like many other things, the things I want to do. And she's very good with doing lots of hand sewing, and she lots of projects with scraps. And another one I saw actually the other day was a hair. Came up on Facebook, and there's a PDF pattern you can get for it, and that's made from scraps, and I absolutely love it. So although I do think some of the PDF patterns are a bit expensive, I think that would be a good investment, because I've got so many scraps and I could make so many hairs. Who for, I don't know, but you know, if they come out good enough, you never know. Some people might want them. Right, I'm going to change my thread again now. So I don't know if you notice or not, but I do like to use Gutermann thread if I can, because it's so easy to thread, and it just sews so well. I mean, this isn't Gutermann, but it's another one I think I probably was given at some point. I'm decided on this one. I'm going to stitch down both sides, and then I will turn the top over and then stitch that. As you know, normally I would be using my overlocker to stop that fraying, but at the moment I'm having a problem with it. It just keeps coming unthreaded, and I need to work it out. So I'm going to just stitch this. What I might do is go round it afterwards with my pinking shears, just to make sure it doesn't fray. I'm just using the edge of the foot to guide me on this, and to have quite a narrow seam, so I've got a maximum amount of room in the bag. You see, I've been naughty, I'm not using any pins. Talking about templates, I don't know if I've said before another one, but if you haven't seen the others you won't know. I bought some children's colouring books, and to try and find shapes and things that I can get a clean line from. As I say, I can draw, but I won't necessarily get a clean line. Now that has slipped, and I'm going to have to unpick that now. It slipped, and it's not quite the seam it should be. See, that's what happens when you don't pin. Don't forget when you're using an unpicker to make sure the one with the red ball is on the inside like that, so that it doesn't cut into the fabric. And you still have to be very careful, because it can still slip and cut. But I really don't know why I didn't pin that, to be perfectly honest. I was getting a bit cocky, wasn't I? Because I pinned it when I did the other one. Of course, you don't have to just pin, you can clip. Right, again, that one is absolutely fine. I don't know why this one didn't go right, so yet again, showing you what happens when you do it wrong. Put it way back, so sometimes you can get it back enough that you don't have to worry about taking the pins out as you stitch. Just holds it in place. Right, now it shouldn't slip. Okay this time? Yes. Cut that with the pinking shears now to stop it fraying. Personally, I don't like to use these because they hurt my hand when I cut. I don't know what it is, they're so hard to cut with. Cut this and I've made it 32 across, 64 in length, so it ends up being square when it's folded in half. And this is only like child size, obviously you can make it whatever size you want. Right, well that's a bit tidier. So now I'm going to turn the top over all the way round and stitch that. Christmas will be upon us again, won't it, before we know it. I'd like to be able to just jump on a plane and escape it, to be honest. I just find it all a bit too much these days. Having said that, once it's here and if I am at home, I'll make the most of it. Okay, make sure I've folded that even all the way round. Yep. Right, now we'll stitch around the top. Take that off to give me a bit more room. Right, this is going to be, follow the 3/8 line on my measure there, and I'm going to put my magnet there to make sure I don't slip over. That's it. I'd like Santa to bring me a better machine, but it's not going to happen. Feeling very warm up here considering it's so chilly outside. It's got to be menopause, isn't it? That's my sides done, everything's tidy. What I'll do now, I'm going to make my box bottoms. So we need to get the two side seams together like that. You can see there. I'm going to put a clip there to make sure that stays together. And then the idea is to try and line up. It's going to be a bit difficult with the front bit because that's rigid with the Mickey. If we open the seam, put a pin in there. I'm not going to, I think I'm going to do about 3 centimetres maybe from the point. Let's have a look, see how much 3 centimetres is. Oh, I'll go dead on where my pin is, so that I'm going to do a very small box. And I need the other side. Open the seam up. In an ideal world I should be pressing this with my iron. Let's get this. It's very difficult with Mickey in the way. Right, 3 centimetres. I guessed it right last time, but the odds on I wouldn't do it right the second time. So there, I need to put my pin. Right, so I'll just do a row of stitching across there, and then we'll have our box, our box bottom. Make it the other way. I'm not going to line this bag or anything, like I say, because I mean it's like just making a basic tote bag really, and it doesn't really need to be lined, only just looks nicer sometimes. Right, so that's both sides stitched. Now we're going to cut the peak of that off, but to about 1 centimetre from the line I've just stitched, like that. And the same there. Okay, let's turn this back the other way. So there we have a nice boxed bottom. They're just useful because when you've got things in them as well, they just sit better. So, Mickey box bottom bag, but I've also now got to do the handles. There's 2 pieces. Actually, it's one at the minute. I've just realised I haven't cut it in half. This, I think I measured, let me tell you now. I made that 12, so that I have 2 6 centimetre strips for each handle. I'm going to finger press this like that, just so I've got a line. Right, the tubing needs to be just about an inch shorter than the actual handle. So cut that one. Not with my fabric scissors, obviously. That's one. And then I've get another one to match. I'm going to actually get the iron out for this because I need to press the side seams. So turn each side in about 1 centimetre with a gap rather than the meeting, and I found on the other one that gave me enough then to fold around the tube. Okay, so that's pressed. Let's do the other one. Okay, let's get the tube in. As I say, just about 1 inch from the end, or let's say about 3 centimetres. I always forget the conversions. Then place it in the middle like that. Fold it over the side, over to the other, meet the other edge, and put a pin in. If I remember right, I think I hand stitched the other one. Yes, I did, because I didn't really want to be running the machine alongside it and running through the tube. I'd have been if I put the zipper foot on, I could have machine sewed it, but the hand stitching was fine. As some of you may remember, I do like a bit of hand sewing. As I say, I've no idea what this tubing is really for. It might even be meant for this, for all I know, but I couldn't understand the language on the packet that I picked up. There we go. So that's all pinned. So I'll hand stitch that, do the other one, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, so I've hand stitched those. Now I'm going to place them on the bag where I want them, on the inside. I think that's about right. So what I need to do then is measure from the outside of the handle to the seam, or to the edge of the bag, and that's about 9 centimetres. And to make sure they're even, I do the outside, and it just happens I've placed them in the right place anyway. Right, so pin that in place. And obviously now I've done that, I've moved it. 9 there. Just side. Doesn't matter which way round you put the handles on, but obviously you may need to do them both the same way round, does it look odd? And then this lot, once it's on, you should be able to just match up. In front of it and know it's in the right place to match the other side. That's it. So I'll stitch them in place, and what I'll do is I'll stitch in a square, so up around like that on both sides, and then that'll be done. This is why you leave the inch either end without the tube, but if the tube is there, because this one is soft, it's not a problem, but it's best to leave a gap so that the needle can run across it. You can feel the handle there, so just put as far as you need to go. There you go. So it's a little square. I'm going to do the other three, and then I'll show you the finished product. There we go. Another finished bag. Quite sweet, really, isn't it? So orange is nice and cheerful for the children as well. So I think I'm going to make a few more of those, like I say, because I need bags to put my craft stuff in for my granddaughters. Hello, back in focus. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. Please, any comments below, and I will see you next time. Bye.